Entitled Bullies Destroy Soldier Tomb, unaware a blackguard is watching. Where are you watching from? Type your city in the comments. You might just get a shout out in the next video. Hit like and subscribe for some good luck today. The cemetery was quiet, its silence broken only by the whisper of the wind through the oaks. Long rows of white headstones gleamed faintly under the glow of the moon, each one bearing the name of a soldier who had laid down his life for his country. It was a place meant for reverence, a ground consecrated by sacrifice. But that night, it was about to be desecrated. A group of young men stumbled through the shadows, their laughter carrying across the sacred stillness. They were drunk, loud, and brimming with the reckless arrogance of people who had never known loss. "Look at this," one of them sneered, kicking at a wreath laid neatly in front of a tomb. The flowers scattered across the damp grass. "All these stupid stones for dead people nobody remembers." Another boy, taller, with a baseball cap turned backward, spat on the ground. "Yeah, my old man says the military's just for losers anyway. Why waste land on them?" The smallest of the group, nervous but desperate to impress, picked up a beer bottle and smashed it against the marble slab of a soldier's tomb. The sound cracked through the night like thunder. The others roared with laughter. "Go on," the tall one goaded. "Let's see who can wreck the most graves before sunrise." They began their cruel game, knocking over headstones, scrawling slurs with spray paint, trampling on flags left by grieving families. Their joy came from destruction, blind to the fact that beneath every stone lay the story of a life given so they could live freely. But what they didn't know was that they were being watched. Not by ghosts. Not by the dead. But by a man very much alive. Sergeant Nathaniel Cole stood in the shadows, his frame broad and imposing, his dark skin blending into the night. A decorated veteran, now serving as a ceremonial guard, he had volunteered to patrol this hallowed ground after reports of vandalism in recent weeks. To him, these weren't just stones. They were brothers, sisters, friends, names carved in marble, but faces burned forever in his memory. And now, he was watching their legacy being spat on by entitled boys who had never lifted anything heavier than a beer can. His jaw tightened. His fists clenched. Every instinct in him screamed to rush forward, to stop them before they could destroy another inch of sacred ground. But Cole didn't move. Not yet. Instead, he stepped silently closer, his boots sinking into the damp earth, his breath steady. He wanted them to see. He wanted them to feel the weight of what they had done before he spoke. One of the boys, blond, stocky, with a smirk that reeked of privilege, climbed onto the top of a tombstone carved with an eagle. He raised his arms as if he were a king on a throne. "Bow down, peasants," he mocked, his friends cackling below. Cole's voice cut through the night, low and commanding. "Get off that stone." The laughter died instantly. The boys froze, their heads snapping toward the sound. Out of the darkness, Nathaniel Cole emerged, his tall frame silhouetted against the moonlight. His ceremonial uniform clung to him with precision, dark jacket, white gloves, polished shoes. But it was his eyes that caught them, sharp, unflinching, burning with a fire they couldn't name. The blond boy scrambled down, suddenly unsure of himself. "Who the hell are you?" he demanded, though his voice cracked. Cole stepped forward slowly, his gaze sweeping across the wreckage. The broken bottles. The toppled flags. The spray paint glistening wet on marble. His chest rose with controlled fury. "I'm the man who stands watch when cowards like you think no one's looking." His voice was calm, but each word landed heavy. The tall boy in the cap tried to laugh it off. "Relax, man. We're just having a little fun. Nobody cares about these old graves." Cole's eyes narrowed. "Nobody cares." He took another step forward, his boots striking the ground with measured weight. "Every stone here is a life. A story. A family left behind. Men and women who gave more than you'll ever understand. And you call that nothing?" The smallest boy shifted uncomfortably. "We didn't mean." "Didn't mean." Cole's voice cut sharp. "You smashed their tombs. You spit on their memory. You came here with the intent to destroy what you could never build." The blond one crossed his arms, puffing his chest. "What are you gonna do? Call the cops? We'll be long gone before they show up." Cole stopped walking. He was close now, close enough for them to see the medals on his chest glinting faintly in the moonlight. "You think this is about the law?" His tone dropped to a growl. "This is about respect. Something you clearly don't have." The group fell silent, shifting nervously under his gaze. But the tall one in the cap tried to save face. "Man, you don't scare us. You're just some guard." Cole's lips curled into something between a smile and a warning. "Just a guard." He lowered his voice. I fought with men whose names are carved on these stones. I carried their bodies off battlefields so they could come home to rest here. I held brothers in my arms while they took their last breaths. And you, he pointed a gloved finger at them, trembling not from fear but fury. You dishonor them for a cheap laugh? For the first time, the blond boy's smirk faltered. Cole stepped closer, until the boys could see the steel in his eyes. You will put every stone back the way you found it. You will clean every drop of paint, every shred of trash, every flag you stomped. And you will do it in silence. Because if you don't, his voice lowered to a whisper, then you will answer to me. The air was heavy. Even the night seemed to hold its breath. The boys looked at each other, their bravado slipping fast. The smallest one bent down first, picking up a shredded wreath and setting it back on a grave. His hands shook. The others followed reluctantly, muttering under their breath, but Cole's glare silenced them quickly. 4 hours, under the cold stare of the blackguard, they worked. They scrubbed stone, gathered trash, replaced flags. Sweat mixed with shame as their drunken laughter faded into miserable silence. By dawn, the cemetery stood clean again, the graves restored as best they could be. Cole looked over their work, then at the tired faces of the boys. You thought this place was just stone and grass. But this ground is sacred. These names are the price of your freedom. You get to walk out of here alive because they didn't. None of them dared to meet his eyes. The blond one finally whispered, "We're sorry." Cole studied them for a long moment, then said, "Sorry won't bring back what you broke. But maybe it can change who you become. Remember this night. Remember the shame. And the next time you see a flag, or a veteran, or a name carved in stone, you stand. You honor. You respect." The sun rose behind him, painting the sky in shades of gold and crimson. It cast long shadows across the rows of graves, as if the fallen themselves were listening. The boys left in silence, their heads bowed, their arrogance stripped away. Cole stood alone, his figure tall among the stones. He raised his hand in salute, not to the boys who had left, but to the brothers and sisters resting beneath the earth. "Rest easy," he murmured. "I'll keep watch." And with that, he resumed his post, silent, steadfast, a guardian of memory against the ignorance of the living. The moral of the story is clear. Respect is not given, it is earned. And the freedom to mock, to laugh, to live recklessly, was bought with blood by those who can no longer speak for themselves. If we forget them, we lose more than graves. We lose our soul.